ಸಾಲ ಕಪ್ ನಮ್ದೆ.
ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು?
All the money that I had to get.
You finally won.
Finally, no, I had won.
You got some arbitration.
I had won.
Okay.
The execution of that award, forcing these guys to cough up that money, it took me 3 years.
Nice. But
of course,
finally
the Corona,
got it.
the Corona helped their cause.
Okay.
It delayed my cause. Otherwise, it would have ended earlier.
Better late than never.
Yeah, but it's done.
Yeah.
That was a massive closure for me.
Right.
But in those 3 years, I started consulting for seed stage startups, small startups, where I try and make these uncomfortable conversations between the founders.
So what is when you say you work with startups?
Seed stage structural consulting. I do the structural consulting with them, where I help them to structure their cap table, who's going to be what, who's got what on the table, vesting period, all that conversation, put it together, and also the team that they have, who's, if somebody's getting less used or somebody's getting overused, and somebody's basically setting up the cultural atmosphere, putting up a proper structure so that they're ready for the next round.
It's interesting. So you work with startups.
Small, generally seed stage or pre-seed stage startups, which is a team of about generally between 5 to 15 people.
Right. So right. These companies which are literally in their infancy stage, right? This is where you come in and you help the founders of these companies?
The whole team, basically.
The whole team.
I generally work with the entire team. I tell the founders
that you're contracted by the founders.
Founders, yeah.
Right. And you're contracted by them to help them grow.
Put a structure together.
Right.
Put a clear-cut structure together, get the compliances together, so that, because compliances is something which is overlooked, because a lot of us are so emotionally involved or invested in whatever we create, right?
Right.
You are so emotionally invested. Tomorrow, if I hijack it from you,
right,
you will feel really hurt.
Right.
You might bring me in with your good faith,
right.
Okay, I can contribute, you should be a part of it. But if I start slowly hijacking it without bringing anything on the table.
Right. No, but my question is...
And you would be emotionally driven that, कैसे पूछूं इसको, क्या करूं मैं, क्या...
How do I bring this up without making things awkward?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
But my question is this. This is usually a job done by, investment firm person, or it's a
they do
high-end marketing person, or what these guys from KPMG, right?
That is, so KPMG will not even talk to you until you are pre-series A.
Correct. Oh, right. Unless you're...
unless you're at that
but
level.
My question is, how did you get into this?
Because I was
writing and you had writing cafe, and I think your entire world was around writing till that point. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I was at a stage where the reason I built Modus Cafe in that large scale was basically to build the books. Every investor looks for traction, right? You got to show that this concept works. There's a proof of concept and so, blah, 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 all that jazz, right? So I built that for that sole reason that, okay, this, there's a traction, the books are getting built. Then I can take it large.
Right.
Go the whole e-com way, bring in, the whole...
But of course, you guys parted ways before.
It reached a stage where it could have, and I wanted to take it further. So I started having that uncomfortable conversation finally, and that took them off.
That changed the dynamics.
Yeah, that changed
How many of you?
Including me, 4 of us.
4, okay.
Yeah, that changed the entire dynamics, right? And that's when things really fell apart, got sour, and the true intentions started coming out.
But how did you go from there, being in that position to whatever, to even being in a space where someone can approach you saying, "Hey man, I've got this startup"?
I understand the space very well, because I'm not I'm emotionally driven also, but I'm very logically driven towards this process.
No, my question is let's say I have a startup. How will I know that I should reach out to Aashish?
It's generally, basically, what I've done so far is basically through reference.
Okay. So
I haven't put myself out there saying that I'm doing the service. This is my service.
Right.
Because I'm not really looking to do this permanently in my life.
But through the network of people, but that's a skill set of its own, right? To build a network.
It is, but it is, again, the problem with today's networking is that you don't know who's faffing. You don't know who's throwing.
ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು?